The dust is settled. The cards are in. Shadur's on a team. Let's talk about the winners and losers. Yo! What's happening, everybody? It's football season. The draft is over, so we've got 3 months of arguing with ourselves about who the best player is. None other than Brennan and Brian here to talk about On Too Much Fantasy Football. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Brennan, how are we doing?
We're doing good. It's always we hype ourselves up around this time. Like, these guys are going to go to all these immaculate places, and it's just like a letdown. And then we just kind of hype ourselves back into it. Like, oh, no, actually is a good spot.
Yeah, you listened to the episodes just 4 or 5 days ago. Completely different tune that we had. Look, this class, it was still impressive. We had a very deep running back class, but you know what? There were so many more vet winners than actual rookie winners in this draft.
Yeah, I was going through my winners and losers, and it's just like there's so many vets that just like got saved. Like, I mean, we're going to talk about it in this episode, but like it's outstanding. Like, how many guys were like, for sure. Like, I thought like Isaiah Pacheco, for instance, I was like, they're going to for sure take. I mean, they took somebody in the 7th round, but like he's more of like a Jerick McKinnon kind of replacement, not an Isaiah Pacheco replacement.
Yeah, Cowboys, I thought they were going to be a shoo-in to take somebody. The Broncos, I thought they were going to take someone sooner. The Steelers, I thought they were going to take someone sooner. We thought quarterbacks were going to go faster. This was a heavy under for the first round. I wouldn't say a letdown. I still had a good time, but we definitely overhyped ourselves just a tad bit.
We always do it, though. Every fantasy football player always overhypes themselves for this draft and hoping that it would just go in this immaculate order, and it never does.
Oh, man. It's going to be fun, though. We've got a handful of players here. We're going to kind of go through the consensus top 24-ish in Superflex Dynasty Leagues. We're going to talk about our winners, our losers, who we really thought hit it. So let's go ahead and start at the top with the guy that was, he was mocked to go to the Raiders nonstop. Little bit of buzz to pull him away for last week. But yeah, Ashton Jeanty, he is going to be playing with Pete Carroll, a guy who loves to run the ball, lined him up with Geno Smith. What's your initial reactions with this one?
I mean, it's one of the top landing spots that we all could have hoped for. Pete Carroll loves to run the football. He's got a competent quarterback. He's got a competent receiving group. I mean, we touched about this earlier. Like, he's our 4th running back off the board right now. Like, it's hard to put him anywhere else.
Yeah, rough rankings right here, folks. We've got him in RB4 overall for this 2025 season. It's hard to say that nobody won or like anybody didn't win from this situation. Obviously the coaching staff, the GM, they know they got a slam dunk here. Geno Smith is going to put him in a much better situation to continue being one of the most accurate quarterbacks in football. Now, Brock Bowers, he does not have to be the only piece there on that offense. So Jeanty's only going to help, give him opportunities. They're going to load the box more with him. So I think it's wheels up for this whole team as far as expectations.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. What would you think is too early for redraft to take him? Like, if you take him ahead of Bijan, is that too rich?
It could be. I can see. Look at where we took Bijan when he came out his rookie year. Just it can take him a bit of time. So I don't think if you take him in the first round, I don't think it's going to be a reach. But I'm not going to be getting cute. I am going to keep him there below those top 3 running backs that we have.
Okay.
All right, let's move on to the other first-round running back we had, Omarion Hampton. This was a pretty, I feel like, chalk as well. We knew that the Chargers were going to make some sort of move after not bringing back J.K. Dobbins. So Omarion Hampton, running back out of North Carolina, was at number 21 overall to the Chargers. It's a great situation. Najee got picked up over there, so he will be on a 1-year deal. It's up to $9 million, but it's as low as $4 million. It's all a lot of incentive-laden deal, but Omarion Hampton should be a pretty solid RB2 this season.
I think there's a world where both finish as RB2s. I think, as weird as it sounds, I just think that like Najee's going to start it off. They're going to build up Hampton into it. But after this year, I think that's where Hampton will flourish. This will be a second year on. But I think they're going to find a way to make this tandem kind of work in the beginning. But unless Hampton is just like outdoing him by every metric possible, I just think they're going to find a way to work both of them in, because Najee, no matter what, he's durable, dude. Like, he plays every game. It's just, and Hampton's going to be settling into the NFL. So I would settle our expectations for the first year with Hampton.
Yeah, that's the thing with Najee is, yeah, he may not have always been elite player, but he was consistent RB2 because he was out there for every single game. And I imagine we're probably going to see that continue here with LA. Omari and Hampton, though, he is going to be splitting down those early down back, like those that work with Najee. Great pass catcher, absolutely one of the better team target share that he had when you correlate that with his size and speed. So Omari and Hampton for the future. As far as a rookie pick, I love taking him in with my second pick.
Yeah, he's definitely my 102 for sure. For me, I think my question are you taking Hampton reach up, or you can take Najee at a cheaper value?
Give me the ADP, whoever's cheaper. I'm probably going to
I
be
think
okay
it's
with
gonna be
both of them.
Najee.
I think Najee will be too. So
Yeah.
Omari and Hampton might be more of a guy I'm seeing a lot more on
I
my
think a
team
lot
next
of
year.
people, and I'm in Southern California, so I have a lot of drafts with Chargers fans. So like, I feel like he's going to be overtaken, and I just don't want to do that. So I'll take the other guy that I know will at least get work it.
100%. 100%. Let's get into these wide receivers here because the Jacksonville Jaguars made a splash, moving up from 5 to 2 to take Travis Hunter. And God, if that guy does not just have the most infectious smile, I don't think I've seen him drop his smile since he was drafted. Just bounce around, having a great time, realize that he's going to be one of the soon faces of this league. The Jags have come out and said he will be a primary wide receiver. They're going to work him into that DB role. But give me your thoughts on this. Is he a winner going here to Jacksonville?
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's going to benefit with that. But I think so. I have a lot of thoughts on this. Like, one, like, grateful for they came out and said he's going to be a primary wide receiver. So thank you, Jacksonville, for nipping that in the butt. We all were worried they might play this out a little bit. But my second thought is durability. I don't know if his body type will be durable to play both sides of the ball in the NFL because it's a violent game at the end of the day. And he's not the biggest dude. I think he's going to benefit. I think they really are going to try to play him both ways. I don't know if you heard the introduction from the GM. That dude had a Roman Empire type of speech. He was just we are all in on him. He is going to play both sides of the ball. We want him to learn. He had this really emphatic speech about him. So I really like Travis Hunter. He's definitely my 103, and it's solidified as my 103. The reason why for that is because most rookie running backs in the first round hit at an 80% clip, and then rookies in the first round are at a 50% clip. So I'm just going to go with the math in this one. And I actually like Hampton as a prospect. So that's where I'm at with him.
I'm right there in that same boat for you. I think across the board, the Jacksonville is just another franchise that won with this pick. Trevor Lawrence, I cannot wait to see how well he does. If we can get a 30-35 touchdown season out of him this year or next year, I think that will propel him, even without the lack of rushing, to be a top 12 quarterback easily.
Honestly, the winner out of that too is Trevor Lawrence, man. He got another solidified, really good wide receiver. Him, Brian Thomas Jr. Honestly, yeah, it's they're all in now on Trevor Lawrence.
And BTJ, you can't really call him a loser. If anything, you drop him one spot in your consensus ranking, maybe. But I don't. If anything, this just helps. All it does is help bring the focus away from him. He's got the immense skill where he can get away anyway. So I'm just excited for this offense to stay on the field more. Just giving him more opportunities.
Puka or Brian Thomas Jr.?
Ooh, we're gonna. I think Puka's the safe feel right now. Brian Thomas Jr. They're in the same bucket for me.
Okay.
All right, next wide receiver we're going to talk, Tedero McMillan coming out of Arizona. He did land as a top 10 pick. We love the draft capital. Ends up falling to Carolina Panthers, hanging out with Bryce Young. They took a first-round receiver last year in Xavier Legette. Just didn't quite turn out. Jalen Coker, the sixth-round pick, almost outshined him last year a bit. So I'm really excited to see what he can add to this offense. But we've got risks on Ted. There were talks about, the lack of film, maybe the lack of just motivation and dedication to it. There's going to be media people trying to slander that out there. So who knows exactly what that situation is. But I mean, Bryce Young's a winner because he definitely got himself a stud wide receiver one. But Ted McMillan, is this somebody you're really excited about in your rookie drafts for Dynasty?
I'm trying to avoid drafting him unless I absolutely have to. One, it's top 10 capital. So they are heavily invested on him. I do like the head coach. I like Dave Canales. I like what he does. He schemes up guys really well. I just don't know if the next level is going to be there. He just has a hard time separating, and this is a league where you have to separate at a pretty good level to be there. And he's got hands at least, so he's got that going for him. It's just I don't know. I'm trying to avoid him at all costs. If there's someone in my dynasty leagues that are really clamping at the bits to trade up to get him, by all means, I will move back a little bit and take some of the other running backs.
The key is you say he's got those great hands. He had a 54.7% contested rate last year. That's 86th percentile. That's amazing.
Hmm.
But if that's your only bag you have, that is, it's a challenge to translate into the NFL. So I think there will be instant success just on the pie, the amount of target percentage he's going to see in that offense. But does he have that ability to step it up and be a true top 12 wide receiver in fantasy football? That remains to be seen.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, though, besides Tech, Carolina had a really good draft. I just want to give them kudos.
Next up, let's go to Tennessee because I mean this one's the chalkiest pick of the draft, the easiest one. Everyone knows where he's going. Cam Ward, first overall to the Tennessee Titans. They've got their quarterback, the future. Will Levis get out of the way. Brian Callahan finally has a guy. Hopefully he can rely on. I mean, I think the franchise is a winner just on the simple fact they got their guy. They have the one they're going after, but Calvin Ridley, do we see him as a winner from this situation?
They took, yeah, I mean, Calvin Ridley for sure. I mean, like Cam Ward was a minus 20,000 to go first overall. So this is already, he was hyping up Calvin Ridley, and he even said, what's his name was a top 5 receiver.
Burks, Treylon
Burks. He said he was number 4, and then he said Tony Pollard and I'm already drawing a blank. They were top 4 running backs, but yeah. Tajay Spears, exactly. Again, like this is Kelvin. I mean, Cam Ward's one of his best highlights was that he's got great pocket awareness and he's very accurate in the pocket. So I think they can build around him. I think they need to build around the defense for this team to be successful. But I do like him as a prospect, though.
And that was the biggest knock, or one of the biggest knocks with Will Levis, is he has no pocket presence at all. Like he was getting creamed up and down the field last year because he just would not get rid of the ball when he needed to, would not move the way he needed to. And Brian Callahan made that very apparent. I think it was week 2 in one of the post-game press conferences. You could tell he's like, this isn't the guy I want. This isn't not who I want. I hope I make it to year 2 with this team so that I can have a quarterback that I truly believe in.
Yeah. I mean, hey, they invested around him, so.
And Cam Ward, I mean, I guess in Superflex drafts, when you're looking at rookies, I think this is one of those big topics. We talk about how quarterbacks just are insulated with value in the future. So my drafts, I've got several that have already happened. He is not quite going as the consensus 101. Do you see him there as safe enough to grab over Jeanty, or not quite yet?
No, I'm taking Jeanty 101, but I did have a league where Cam Ward did go 101, but the dude's a Titans fan, so like I think the bias is a little bit behind that. I'm taking Cam Ward 104. That's where I feel, unless I need a quarterback at 3, but like 104 is, I'm taking it ahead of Tet.
Awesome. Let's get more into these running backs because, man, did not get the draft capital we quite wanted, or at least the landing spot on some of these.
So many good prospects and just so many dud spots.
Trevon Henderson was my RB3. I was super excited for him to fall in a good situation. Now, I won't say it's a bad one. He landed with the Patriots early in the second round. We have Ramondre Stevenson still there, just re-up a contract this past summer. But they showed quickly that they're not loyal to that. They benched him. Small bluff of a bench over the season, but still. This is a new regime. This is, a new head coach coming in here. Josh McDaniels clearly does not play nice, so who knows how that's going to work out with Stevenson. So Stevenson I would definitely call a big loser here, but Trevon Henderson, is he a winner in his landing spot?
I mean, like I said before, I don't think he was going to be a bell cow type of back. He's not built for that type. I think him and Ramondre are actually going to work really, really well because one thing that Henderson has that Ramondre doesn't is that he's got the breakaway, ability that like when he gets the ball in his hands, like he can be gone and go get a touchdown. Ramondre is a very durable back that can, break tackles and get the tough extra yards. And that's not what Trevon does well. But what Trevon does well is he's a very, very good pass blocking type of back. So I think he'll be a very, very good third down back. And I think it'll help Drake May. So I think those two will work in tandem. I think for us to have the expectation that Trevon's just going to go and be this 3-down back, I think you guys need to settle in just a little bit there.
Yeah, it's his explosiveness that offsets that. He won't need a full workload, and that's how the NFL is kind of operating. We're seeing a lot more 2-back backfield, so I think he can still succeed easily. This year, I kind of have tempered expectations. That fringe RB2, RB3, he's going to give you flex viability, but that consistency might not be there in the early season.
I'd want him in PPR leagues. I'd want him in full point PPR. Yeah, that's where I'd probably want him in most.
100%. Let's talk about his college running mate, Quenton Judkins. This was also, there was fun arguments going back and forth which one of these was better, but he goes to the Cleveland Browns. Looks like he is plugging in as the new Nick Chubb. He's a grinder. He's a bell cow. He is a giant bulldozer of a guy. And in Kevin Stefanski's offense, he's going to get some touchdowns, especially with what they did with the quarterback. So I see him a winner in that instance. But he also came out a touch of a loser because the Browns weren't done drafting running backs there.
Yeah, I was like, when I saw he went in the first pick in the second round, I was like, I called it. I said Judkins would go before Trevon Henderson. I was pretty excited. I was texting you saying, I told y'all, call me the couch GM of the year. And then in the fourth round, they took Dylan Sampson.
Yeah, I had Hampton as I think my RB9 in the preseason stuff, just what he could do for fantasy. I was really excited for. It's going to be a thunder and lightning situation here. I think because they don't have that stud quarterback, they are going to continue to really lean on the running game. So I think there will be enough opportunity for both of these guys. But if they both pan out to be solid NFL running backs, we might have one game where you're getting RB1, RB2 numbers from one of them, and the other guy's just barely an RB3. So it's going to a lot depend on how that passing works, passed around, and the touchdowns to Judkins. So these guys aren't full winners for me.
No, but I still like Judkins, though. The draft capital's great. I understand they took Sampson. The loser in all this, though, is Jerome Ford. He's got in the backseat. He's going to be irrelevant. So you guys can kind of just say bye to him.
Toodles. Emeka Ibuka. Talk about a shocker in the first round. Folks, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they've got their two running backs. They've got Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, who they had got re-signed. And then at the end of last season, we saw Jalen McMillan step up, really turn it out. This guy over here was just jumping up every single week on these episodes talking about him. And now he falls back to probably their wide receiver 4. He's going to be a rotational piece. And Emeka Ibuka from Ohio State is going to play the Chris Godwin role with him. I'm not really sure. The biggest winner in this situation has to be Baker Mayfield. Because if you don't sit there and have the argument and dissect where the passing is going to these receivers, it doesn't really matter because it's all coming from Baker. So Baker, probably one of my biggest winners as far as veterans go. But give me your thoughts on Ibuka.
I loved him as a prospect. I told you I would draft him at like 108 every time. I still am. It's just going to be a wait and see because, again, we as fantasy players want him to go to like this premier spot. The Buccaneers are the right thing. Everyone's like, they need a defense. No, Mike Evans is over 30. Chris Godwin is coming back from a horrific injury. I love Jalen McMillan. I think both those two are going to slowly fade into a starting spot, with them when Mike Evans and Chris Godwin fade out. It's just a very, very slow burn. But like you said, Baker's the biggest winner. Mecca, I would expect, I don't know, maybe 40 receptions or less this year. I don't expect a whole lot.
Yeah, I imagine we might get a few explosive plays, a couple of best ball fantasy worthy weeks. But yeah, until one of those two guys, either, Mike Evans, he does pull hamstrings pretty often. Chris Godwin's coming off his second season-ending injury in the last 4 years, so it's not crazy to think that he might propel himself into that wide receiver 2 role or fight McMillan for that second spot if something crazy like that happens. But again, Baker Mayfield, dude, it has only gone up since you've left the Cleveland Browns.
He's what, QB 8 now? Like
7, 8, somewhere in there.
Yeah,
absolutely. I'm really happy with him in the situation that we're going there. Let's bring more quarterbacks into this talk because Jackson Dart ends up going to the New York Giants. Not at 3. They trade back into the first round later on after they took their stud defensive end with that 3rd overall pick. So now Jackson Dart comes into a team where he has Malik Neighbors, and that's really all that matters. There's a few other guys. There's some Wan'Dale Robinsons there, but
hey, Wan'Dale Robinson's the winner in this one too. Like they didn't really take a wide receiver, so like if you hold on to Wan'Dale Robinson, he's a sneaky win in this one, in my opinion.
And Jackson Dart is I think an exciting enough quarterback that, they took him with this draft capital. It's going to give us enough where we're going to be intrigued to see what happens. The rushing upside, if he plays a full season, and we saw back-to-back 400-yard seasons, 500 yards from him this past year in college, if he puts that baseline in the NFL, he will finish as a top 12 quarterback if he plays the whole season. That's just how that math works out. The quarterback position is broken because of the rushing, so that's just... I'm excited for him. Needless to say, he's one of my favorite picks right now to be taking in rookie drafts.
So they have Russell, they have Jameis. What week does Jackson start though? Or is he gonna sit this entire year?
I don't know if both Jameis and Russ make the team. Like you took him with the
Really?
first overall pick. Do you really want him learning behind those two guys? Like I don't think you want that much
To be
exposure.
fair, I think I want him learning behind Jameis. I want him to learn how to sling the ball. I do want him to learn how to be not fearless. I want him to be like sit there and actually go for it because I think he needs to be that type of quarterback in the NFL. I don't know if I want him to learn behind Russ. Russ has played scared and has just played a lot of dump off football in this past couple of years. So Jameis, yes. Russell, no.
Man, I mean, yeah, Jackson Dart, he's got the highest scramble rate of any 2025 quarterback. I mean, we saw Brian Dable. Brian Dable's the reason that Daniel Jones got a contract extension. That year he came in there, he got a full, healthy Daniel Jones. He was great. He is so creative when it comes to mobile quarterbacks because we also saw him working with Josh Allen years before that. So he's playing for his job. Jackson Dart, I believe, gives him the best success of keeping his job going into next year. I don't know if he'd get a chance to develop Jackson Dart year two if they don't put him out there.
Yeah, I like the landing spot. I think, and I like Brian Dable as a head coach and offensive play caller. Where are you taking me in Dynasty though? Like what, late first?
I'm getting him right now early second because he's falling that
Okay.
far. But I'd be willing to take him as I've tried to trade up to the 111 in one of my drafts recently to snag him because I didn't think he'd make it much farther. The more time goes on, folks, the more ADP starts settling in these rookie drafts. So there's a small window where you're going to be able to take advantage of it now, and then everybody starts kind of catching up with what consensus rankings are looking like. So
Yeah, sleepers rankings are a little weird right now. Shadur Sanders is ranked ridiculously high for some stupid reason. I can't understand it.
yeah, we're still trying to push that ADP down a little bit. So yeah,
Yeah.
Jackson Dart, I think he's a big winner, especially when you're tied to a guy like Malik Neighbors.
Hmm.
All right, let's go through some losers here. Well, that's what I'm going to call him here. Matthew Golden. Maybe not he's the loser, but I feel like the Packers are the loser here. First time they take a wide receiver in the first round in the last 20 years, and this is the guy they do it with. I mean, 88 targets, 57 receptions last year, 792 yards. Not bad. You know, best 40 time in the combine. He joins Jaden Reed, Romeo Dobbs, and Wicks. I mean, because obviously we won't have Watson this season. Does he get over a 20% target share? Because without that, I don't know how relevant he's going to be just because the consistency won't be there.
Jordan Love spreads the ball, man. So like it's just one of those where like I like love the draft capital. I do like the landing spot. They do value him pretty damn high if they're gonna take him in the first round. I am probably taking him at like 111, like late first. Like I'm probably that's probably where I feel comfortable at. Now, redraft wise, I probably have no shares of him just because it's just like I don't know what they're gonna do. Jordan Love's a winner though. I mean,
For
you
sure.
got another weapon,
They
and it's
took
a competent weapon.
they took Savion Williams as well, a
Exactly.
incredible athletic talent out of TCU. I think he's a winner because he got a lot higher draft capital than I expected. I thought he was going to come in 4 or 5, round 4 or 5. No, he got taken in round 3. So I think it's a really interesting situation for them to completely rebuild this wide receiver room after we saw it was a heavy Josh Jacobs year last year.
Yeah, they went wide receiver, offensive line, and wide receivers. So like they really did invest in Jordan Love. So like kudos to them for finally doing that to their quarterback. I think this kind of phases out Romeo Dobbs. I think this kind of phases out Dontavian Wicks. I think this is like this new era regime where they want to get high explosive weapons. That's what these guys are. So that's what Matthew Golden is, and the other guy is. I think they're very high explosive weapons, and they want to run that kind of offense. So I'm very curious to see where they go. I just think it's going to take some time with them.
Yeah, high hopes for the team overall, but as far as fantasy, I'm very skeptical with Golden, and I'm okay kind of sitting back and watching this first year and making that decision whether I want to draft him next year.
Yeah.
Next up, we have, I mean, this is my favorite wide receiver in the class, man. It's Luther Burden. Just an analytical dream child. Like what he put up at his time there in Missouri was amazing. Top 10 nationally ranked in yards after the catch, 6.7 yards after the catch. So just absolutely great. He's now entering a crowded pass catching room. We've got DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, and they took Colson Loveland at 10th overall. Plus, you have Cole Kmet, who is known to catch touchdowns. Plus, you've got Swift and Roshan Johnson in the backfield. Another
And
situation.
DJ Moore
And
and
DJ
Roma Dunze It's just
very similar to the
Caleb's
Ibuka
one.
situation. I love the matchup. You're telling me you're locking this guy up with Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams? That's amazing. You're telling me he's stuck in a room with all of these other pass catchers? It
That's
might be a
awful.
bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. 100%. I would
I
have.
like when I saw him get drafted to Chicago, I was like, what? Who's going to be the primary target leader in that group? Like, I legitimately don't know. Like, if I had a gamble, I'm going to say DJ Moore, but like if you told me at the end of the year, Rome Odunze led the league in target or led the team in targets, or even if it was Luther Burden, I would be like, well, I guess I'm not surprised. They had high draft capital and everything else like that. And the real winner on all of this is Caleb Williams. He's probably going to move up a lot of people's draft boards. Like, I think he's probably going to, I think I did my math. I think he's QB9 for me.
It's about where I think best ball he's QB 10 right now. So if you're hoping to get a discount, thinking, oh yeah, I'm gonna go back on the guy everybody got scared of last year, that's not happening. It's just not happening.
No.
There's gonna be no discount from him. So yet again, we get another quarterback that just absolutely a huge winner from the draft, and another guy on the team that's a big winner, DeAndre Swift. I thought they were going to take a running back with that pick. Did not think Luther Burden was going to go here. So the fact that they didn't take one looks like DeAndre Swift is in line for a pretty good season. Let's go to Colson Loveland while we're on this team, though. Thoughts? He was the first tight end. Warren was supposed to be the consensus one.
He's I guess he's dealing with a shoulder injury right now. He's got to rehab it. He's supposed to be ready by OTAs or by preseason. So I think they're going to ease him in slowly. It's tough, man, because that's a loaded offense. Like, you obviously want to have a piece of it, but like at some point there is like a such thing as like too much in the NFL. Like, there is just too much like weapons in that. So like, I don't know what to do with it. Like, if I'm still taking Warren ahead of him just because I liked Warren as the prospect better. And I understand he went to the Colts. We'll talk about him later, but like, he's probably like a mid second for me. I understand it's a top 10 pick. It's just like, it's tough.
Yeah, if anywhere talking about NFL is too much, this is where you come for too much. Not too much firepower on these offenses. Coach has got just a little crazy there. Moving down to another running back, we got Caleb Johnson. This was probably the last of a pretty big tier break as far as the running backs go. One of the last guys that really could hold a majority workload. Thought he was going to go in the second. Really thought he was going to go to the second. Falls to the third. Steelers don't take him. The Broncos don't take him, and the Steelers did. They pulled it off. They have a running mate but now for Jalen Warren, who stayed and re-signed a 1-year tender with him. So, what are your thoughts on Caleb? I mean, they still don't have a quarterback. They didn't draft a quarterback here, so
it's Aaron Rodgers. Like, come on, they did nothing. They drafted a quarterback in the 6th round, I think. It was McCord, or no,
yeah,
it was
Howard.
They took Kyle McCord. No, they took Howard. That's right. They took Howard, who could be the starter over Mason Rudolph. But I think Aaron Rodgers is obviously going to sign there. I like Caleb Johnson. I thought it was a great pick. I was like, they got him in the 3rd round. He was my 5th running back or 6th running back in the rankings. He's a prototypical bell cow. Like, he's going to do it all. And if you saw him at Iowa, it was impressive. He's like the main reason for their offense. So I think he's going to do really, really well. And Mike Tomlin loves to have a bell cow type of guy, and he fits that mold. So I'm taking him at like 106.
I mean, Arthur Smith is still there as OC, and we know he likes to use not only 2 running backs, but a lot of running backs. So even if we do see Aaron Rodgers show up to town and you're a little worried about what he's going to take away, no. They don't want Aaron Rodgers to win games for them. They just want him to not lose them. So, yeah, Caleb Johnson, I think, is a pretty good winner here on the situation.
Yeah, I agree.
Another winner would probably have to be Pickens, right? He didn't get traded. They didn't draft another wide receiver. Him and DK are still going to be the 1-2.
Traded, technically. Like, it's tough to imagine that him and DK find a way where they both flourish in this offense, along with Caleb. So I think he might be traded by the preseason.
Madness, folks. Absolute madness. Let's talk some RJ Harvey, because he was the next running back. Went to Denver. I thought they were going to get more of a bell cow style back, because with Jaleel McLaughlin there, they do have Estime, who they took last year. Give me somebody who's got a little bit more meat to him. This isn't a huge running back, but RJ Harvey coming in here fast. Ran a 4.4 at the 40. 21% of his carries went for 10 plus yards. That's awesome. Sean Payton's running backs, they're always awesome too. So, I mean, you kind of have to lean into it, do you not?
Yeah, he got his elusive back, but he needs to find his bell cow back. He needs to go find that. He has his Kamara, and now he needs to go find the Ingram. I just don't know where the Ingram's at, but he has his Kamara type, which is exciting because obviously when you say the name Kamara, you're thinking, oh my gosh, all right, like top 5 running back. I don't know if that's what he'll be, but like he is very elusive, and I like it. I think, with Bo Nix, obviously Bo Nix has a rushing upside, so it takes away a little bit there, but like RJ Hart, I mean, second round draft capital, man. That's a lot of that's pretty. Obviously they think very highly of him. So, and I mean, he was like RB8 for me in this draft class. So, but what do I know?
Right, we're sitting here talking about it rather than making picks. Unfortunately, next year will be those champs. Right. There we go. The Colts will be looking for one, I'm sure. Next up, I mean, we touched on Tyler Warren just a little bit. The second tight end that went goes to our Colts. As fans of the franchise, stoked, incredibly happy that we got such. I mean, especially after we got burned from Brock Bowers last year. So this definitely made up for it. I don't know how excited I am as far as fantasy goes. If Anthony Richardson's even just decent at passing the ball, where he's throwing it to what we imagined last year, there are 4 capable pass catchers in that wide receiver room. Now you have him plus JT, who we want to get some dump offs to. I don't know if this pass catching pie is going to be big enough in an Anthony Richardson led offense, even if he is competent. Take out whether your feelings of him or not. It's going to be a struggle for him to actually, I think, excel.
So he was the only college player to have a rushing, receiving, and throwing touchdown this year. So like, I think they are going to find a way to use him like in a wildcat formation. So I think he has some flexibility in that aspect. Like, I think, if you don't like Anthony Richardson as, the quarterback, but Tyler Warren as a prospect, he was called Gronk Light. Even Gronkowski compared him to him, like, as, Tyler Warren as a prospect. So I think that for dynasty reasons, you still take him pretty early, just because if you don't believe in Anthony Richardson, they're going to get a replacement then. And at some point that's, tight end's going to be your best friend as a rookie quarterback. So I like Tyler Warren as a prospect. I was super excited. We drafted him. He is very much going to be a wait and see. It really depends on how Shane Steichen uses him in the offense.
Yeah, 100% agree. So I guess who throws more passing touchdowns for the Colts this year? Tyler Warren or Anthony? It's mean, folks. We can do it. We're fans. You can't.
Yeah.
Alrighty, moving on to our next wide receiver. Hey, we're going down to Houston, and clearly they've got a type. We've got Nico Collins, a huge giant over there. Let's get another giant in Jaden Higgins from Iowa State to stick on the other side. Another just towering wide receiver. CJ Stroud, big winner here.
Yeah, CJ Stroud's a big winner because they took him, and they also took his running mate as well. I'm trying to blank on his name.
Jalen Noel.
Jalen Noel. Yeah, Jalen Noel. And with the second round draft capital, it's pretty high. So they went all in. I thought for sure they'd go a heavy offensive line, in the first couple of picks. They just said, nope, we're going to go and just get some crazy weapons for CJ Stroud. And if you watch any Iowa State games, turn on the game and watch these wide receivers, because it is crazy how good these guys are. So Texans did really well in this draft in that aspect of getting, some crazy weapons for CJ Stroud. I like them though. I like them a lot.
I do too. I think they clearly have a plan for how they want to use this offense. They want to use these big-bodied receivers. And then Noel, a little undersized, 190 pounds. So he's still got 30 pounds on Tank Dell. So if that's what you're worried about, because unfortunately Tank Dell probably won't play another snap for the Houston Texans, who will be out this entire 25 season just with the type of injury that he had. So I think both of these guys play a great role in the development of CJ Stroud in year 3. We need quite a bounce back after that letdown in year 2. But it's great. I'm super excited for this offense going forward.
Christian Kirk's kind of be a loser then, right? Because
yes, he does. And I know I was pumped for him. I was so pumped for him in my best ball summer. It was going to be a blast stealing him late. And I don't know. I mean, first half of the season, I could see him being a decent draft, paying off being drafted. You get a few weeks out of him, but I imagine we could see a rotation, him coming out of the lineup a little bit more if both of these rookie wide receivers pan out.
There's no way that both of them hit, right? One's going to flourish before the other, right?
So I guess it kind of depends on where you look at it. Higgins, I'm usually a size guy when it comes to the wide receiver position. So you'd think I'd go Higgins, but I think Knowles actually my favorite wide receiver of the two. He's known as more of the cerebral player. He's the smarter one. He kind of knows the game a bit more. He gives you a better answer, whereas Higgins was a lot more. He might just be winning on talent versus
Okay.
actual football knowledge.
So are you taking Higgins before Knoll?
I've got him ranked above him, but I don't know if I'm actually taking him there. The
Okay.
strategy which I'm going through there, I'm probably setting up myself so I don't have to take him, if that makes sense.
Fair enough.
What about you?
I guess I'm gonna take Higgins. I mean, they took him first. They like him more. I don't know. It's the only way I could look at it, I
Hey,
guess.
you can't argue with those results there, folks. It's just how that
Yeah.
works sometimes. Trey Harris, I think one of the biggest rookie winners out of the wide receiver group, at least, goes to Los Angeles Chargers. 70%. He's battling Quenton Johnson as far as the wide receiver too, so
That's
he'll
a
have
tough
that
one.
probably won by June, maybe July.
Well,
I
he
see
hasn't won
him.
now. He's probably up there ahead of the depth chart for sure.
But talk about a player that just you've got Lad McConkey on one side, you're going to have him on the other. They pair so well together. I think Justin Herbert finally has himself a nice 1-2 tandem there, and I'm incredibly excited for what Trey's going to give us.
Yeah, he's a winner. Justin Herbert's a winner from this draft. He got Omari and Hampton in the first round. He got Trey Harris in the second round. So great draft capital for both of these guys. I mean, I think Lad's a winner too because I know Trey Harris is going to take away some targets, but it's not going to be like a ridiculously amount of targets where it's Lad's probably going as like wide receiver 15. I think that's probably where he stays. I thought they would maybe take somebody like of a bigger size, like a Tet if he fell. Obviously that didn't happen, but I'm very interested to see where everything kind of falls in line for them.
I think this ensures that Lad McConkey gets to his second contract because if he sees the target share that he saw last year for 4 years, he won't make it. He has battled through injuries throughout his career, and he's not the biggest guy. So I really, like you said, I think this really helps him out quite a bit. And it's Greg Roman's offense. We're not going to see incredibly high. Herbert's not throwing for 650 times, but it's efficiency. That's what we're going to see shoot up. I think 30 to 40 touchdowns is going to be in the realm of possibilities for this team going in this year.
No, I completely agree.
Alrighty, Jack Beck, who Besh, however however we're
Yeah.
supposed to say it, goes to the Raiders. Huge winner for me as well, just because I think he's walking into the number 2 wide receiver role. We have Jacoby Myers over there, who underrated fantasy asset,
He's going to be
especially
an
when
underrated guy.
especially with Geno Smith. So, Jack Besh, I can see flex play coming at him this year.
Yeah, he's going to be the wide receiver 2. Jacoby Myers is going to be a wide receiver 1. He's going to be way underdrafted for no reason. I think he'll probably be on like a lot of my list to take because it's just like Geno Smith's a very accurate quarterback, and everyone's like, "Oh, Brock Bowers, like I will take the number 2 guy in that offense." So, yeah, and he went to a really good spot, and he's like, they were comparing him to Ashton Jeanty when it came to breaking away from tackles, and then you turn on the tape and it's like, okay, I can kind of see it, like the fact that he just mauls people over. So I kind of like the landing spot, and it's good draft capital.
Let's go back up to Geno's old home up there in Seattle. They did sign Sam Darnold in the offseason. I think it was a 3-year deal is what they got him on. But they took a quarterback. They got themselves another quarterback, a third rounder in Jalen Milroe. Very rough prospect as far as the passing game goes, but he has been compared to Lamar Jackson as far as his athleticism and his ability to run the ball. We're not going to call him Lamar Jackson because you just can't do that. It's an insult to Lamar and his amazingness. But Jalen Milroe, what do you think as far as his development? Do you see an opportunity where he thrives in this offense?
It's a good place to go because they have the money invested in Sam Darnold, where he is going to start for the year. So that means Jalen Miller is not going to see the field unless it's like a dire emergency. And he's going to go learn under Clinton Kubiak, which I think is a pretty good spot for him to go learn actually how to throw the football. So I do like it where he went. I thought that was, a really good spot for him to go sit and just actually learn the game, learn the playbook and everything else like that. So, it was a great spot for him.
And Cubes, he likes to run a lot of motion, and that's going to be good for Milroe. Move guys around, put them in a spot where there's not anybody around him to knock the ball away, build up that confidence a bit. So Justin Milroe or Jalen Milroe definitely irrelevant outside of injury to Sam Darnold this year, but he's going to be knocking on that door, potentially making Sam Darnold play for that spot in 2026.
Yeah.
And probably the last relevant quarterback we have to talk about right now is Tyler Shuck. Ends up going early in round 2 to the Saints. After we saw Shadur fall out of the first round, we thought maybe he could land here. The prank call even set us up where we thought he was going to go there, but no. The Louisville, he's going to be 26. He's Louisville's quarterback. He's going to be 26.
He was the backup to Justin Herbert. Like, that's how old this guy is.
He's had 3 season-ending, like, devastating injuries. So it kind of set him up 7 years that he's been playing college football, though. But with the recent success that we've seen with these older quarterbacks, Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, is this another guy that could be set up? I mean, we still don't know what Derek Carr's situation. Is the injury real? Is that just his agents trying to make sure that he stays the starter? We don't quite know. We're still waiting on that story to develop more. But do you see him leading himself into a successful career in the NFL?
No. Like, I'm so sorry, Saints fans. Like, just the draft capital in the second round is insane. Like, swing for the fences. Go get Jalen Milroe. Go get a guy that, like, is at least, like, if he can't throw, at least he can run the football. This guy can't even throw the football. Like, just watch his tape. Like, it's not that impressive. Like, I'm so sorry, Saints fans. I really am. Like, I want no business of drafting this guy. I don't even know if I can call Chris Olave a winner after this, because it's just like they didn't draft a wide receiver there, which I thought that's what they thought they would do. Yeah, no, this is dude, Mickey Loomis. How he's still a GM is still beyond me.
How? No idea. Yeah, the biggest winner, I think, in this situation is probably just the salary cap for the Saints, because if they get rid of Derek Carr, at least their quarterback won't be paid a whole lot of money. They can figure this out, because they've kicked that can down several years down the road.
Yeah, no kidding.
All righty, let's talk some Cam Scatabo, because this is another polarizing player as it comes to just the fantasy breakdown, whether people think he's going to be good, great, or irrelevant. He goes to the Giants. Tyrone Tracy, he's got a little bit of competition there, but we knew he wasn't going to get out of the draft without some competition showing up there. Devin Singletary is, I guess, still technically on the team. Eric Gray there, but Cam Scatabo, 4th round draft capital, strong pass catching running back, very versatile, breaks tackles like none other in college. Does that translate to the NFL?
I said to be a day 3 pick. It was kind of annoying with Tyrone Tracy, but we knew the Giants would do this. They needed a running mate with Tyrone Tracy. So, like, there might be a world where, like, they kind of work together in tandem. Like, I think there's going to be guys who are just Cam Scatabo believers, and they're going to overtake him, like, really, really early. I'm just not a Cam Scatabo believer. So, if he's there at my pick, I will avoid him. But, like, I don't. In a lot of my drafts, I probably have, like, he's probably split 50-50, so I probably don't have to worry about it. He's probably like a mid to late second pick for me, if I had to be honest.
The hard thing with a lot of these running backs, like the ones that didn't get the very early capital, is if you believe, you have to take them. There's only going to be so many discounts. It's only going to be spread around so much, so you're just going to have to shoot your shot. And that's what we're going to spend the summer trying to dissect and figure out which ones are going to be the safest ones, which ones are going to have the most opportunity. But honestly, none of us are probably going to be right. It's going to be the guy that, has the starter that gets hurt on his team and they gets to propel there, or, something happens to that magnitude, because there's so many of these running backs that are very talented. They're going to contribute to this team in an NFL degree, but in fantasy football, we might be looking at a lot of inconsistencies.
Yeah, I'm not a Cam Scatabo believer, so you can take with what I say with a grain of salt. So,
hey, I've got some belief in him. That highlight tape is just so good. How can you not?
No, highlight tape is crazy. It is crazy. I just don't see that transitioning to the NFL.
Dude bounces around like a beach ball at a Nickelback concert. Mm-hmm. It is wild. All right,
what an analogy.
Right? I thought it was pretty good. Let's kind of finish up with a little rapid round style. Well, we're just going to go back and forth, tossing out some players that very interested, but we have to talk about this guy. One of the biggest losers of the draft. Shadur Sanders falls to the 5th round, and I thought it was a great pick for the Browns to get him in the 5th round. But not when you take Dylan Gabriel in the 3rd. You just wasted your 3rd round pick. We know he's not as good as Shadur. I don't care where you sit on the Shadur Sanders. Like, I want him every time over Dylan Gabriel. We watched him at the Combine. Not impressed at all. There's a couple good throws, but every quarterback had a couple of good throws.
Yeah, I mean, how much of it do you think the ownership's there's like if you watch like the tape of them drafting, they're just kind of like a they just had no care in the world. So do you think the owner stepped in?
I feel like he kind of had to. At this point, I felt bad for the guy watching it.
I did
His
too,
dad
especially the
just
prank call.
Yeah, Dion just set him up for so much failure as far as like hyping it up. Should have just come out and said, "Yeah, I probably should have handled the pre-draft process a little better." And if anything, this might have been a look at for the NFL teams. Hey, if this kid's going to do anything well in the NFL, we need to humble the crap out of him. And how do you humble a guy? You drop him from number 2 overall projected to the 5th round. So I hope he can kind of take this, move forward with it, adjust his mindset a little bit, eat some humble pie, and maybe he will have a chance to compete for the starting job.
He still can win the starting job. Like that's
For
as
sure.
crazy as it sounds, he could still can because it's not like there's crazy competition ahead of him. It's Kenny
Deshaun
Pickett,
Watson.
Joe. Yeah, well, he's not playing,
Flacco.
so
It's Pickett, and then it's Dylan Gabriel. So there's 4 quarterbacks that are going to be competing for this job, but I don't imagine that he's going to be. He'll be either 1 or 2.
yeah.
All right, give me a guy you want to talk about.
Jalen Royals going to the Chiefs, 4th round. It's crazy. The comps are it's very similar to Rashee Rice, so it's I don't know what to do with him because he's obviously a part of Patrick Mahomes, and you don't want to be reaching, but I think there might be a little bit of a reach there from me.
Just a little bit. I mean, I told myself when Worthy hit last year that hey, don't get overexcited. I got overexcited. And unfortunately for me, Royals was one of my favorite wide receivers. Not that I say he was like a top 3, top 4 wide receiver for me, but as far as those middle tier players, this was one of my favorites. It was him and Noel that I was really excited about. So the fact that he gets this landing spot, you've got Rashee Rice, you have Hollywood Brown, you have Xavier Worthy. He's got quite a bit to fight through, and I'm on team no suspension. I don't think Rashee Rice is going to get suspended, so
Nope.
he's going to have to work through it. But as far as a best ball play, this might be a pretty good one.
Yeah, I agree.
All right,
What
next
about you?
guy.
Who's your big winner?
Maybe I don't call him a big winner, but I'm going to talk about Jarquez Hunter here, going to the Rams. We're still waiting to find out if Kyron Williams is going to get extended. Is he just going to get run into the ground this year and they're going to let him walk? Jarquez Hunter won't ever be the bell cow for Sean McVay, but the fact that they took him with a 5th round pick, I love Rams 5th and 6th round picks now. I just can't not get excited about it. You have to feel like this inkling, like they know something we don't. And you know what? We talked to the guy on the streets, hanging out with the guy. I'm really excited to see where he can kind of go, if he can do. But his pass catching ability, I really think it gives him a great shot at being fantasy relevant.
Yeah, so does this move Blake Corum down at all, or does he still stay put?
I like him over Quorum going forward.
Okay.
What about you? What else we got?
Honestly, it's kind of biased, but like DJ Giddens going to the Colts actually I think is a really good spot because like Jonathan Taylor has not like his injuries kind of caught up to him a little bit, and like this guy is elusive. This guy can do it all kind of thing. He's just not a great, pass blocking, but I think it's a great spot for him, and I think he could be the predecessor to take over for JT when it comes time.
Dude, this Colts team is like stupid built for Kirk Cousins to come in here. Like the amount of pass catchers he has, the dump offs that he would get to the running backs, the new tight end there, like it just screams the opposite of the quarterback style that we have. But either way, yeah, I'm with you. Giddens was another guy I was really excited about. An incredibly elusive player.
Yeah.
All right, Ollie Gordon. I got to know here. I was super excited. Really thought we'd get round 4 as draft capital. Falls to the 6th. Goes to the Dolphins. As far as an NFL move, I freaking love it. Talk about it, the guy that complements Achane better. No, I don't think there was a better one in this class. Ollie Gordon and Achane are just a thunder and lightning. Absolutely. But what does this do for us? Does this hurt Achane? Does he drop?
He is the new Mike Tolbert. He is going to be the goal line back. He is big. He's going to take over for. So Devon Achane goal lines are not going to happen anymore. It is going to be Ollie Gordon.
So Achane, which he can, he's going to have to be scoring from 15 plus yards out because
he is
Ollie
not going to be part of that goal line package.
That rolling bowling ball of Ollie Gordon's going to be getting in there for some touchdown. But it's an interesting, again, this is kind of what we talked about. So many of these guys landed in just not the spot we wanted to, and it's going to just decapitate points from these players.
Yep.
Last one I want to bring up here is Harold Fannin. I got to do it before you throw it out there. One of my favorite tight ends coming into the draft. Goes to the Browns. Another great pick for the Browns. But He's behind David Njoku, so he's 20 years old. Njoku was 20 when he came out, so it might just be a situation where we're waiting until that contract runs out.
What tight end was he taking? How many tight ends were taken ahead of him? Just curious.
Shut up.
Okay.
I don't want to hear it because it was like 7.
Yeah, that's right.
Might have been 8. It might have been 8. I mean, there were a lot of tight ends taken early though.
There was. I was actually pretty surprised.
We had 2 go in the top 14 picks. 2 more, I think, go in the second.
Terrence Ferguson went to the Rams.
Yeah, Mason Taylor. There was a lot of running or tight ends that went here, so he was set up for failure a bit there. You got one last player you want to throw out, a winner or loser for us before we get out of here?
Winner or loser for me? I'm trying to think. Kyle Williams. Kyle Williams is a big winner for me, honestly. I think Patriots, if I'm not mistaken, great draft capital too. Has a chance to be the wide receiver 1.
We do have Stephon Diggs there, so I'm sure he's going to be holding on to that just alpha.
Kyle Williams has a chance to be wide receiver 1.
There it is. Jalen Polk, though. Is there still a chance? Their top pick in the second round last year?
I like Kyle Williams more as a prospect.
Yeah, Kyle Williams, we talked about there being a chance he could go very early in the second round just to the Titans, to his old quarterback with Cam Ward. But I do think if anybody can make him work, I think it'll be Josh McDaniels there for the Patriots.
I agree.
Awesome, man. Well, this was awesome. We got wrapped up our winners, our losers, a bit of our recap for the NFL draft. If you're looking for more of us, it's at @too_much_Brian for me, or at @too_much_Brian, depending on if you're X or where you're at. Brendan, where can the people find you?
I am at @too_much_BMulk as well on X.
And we will have continued coverage all summer. Too many episodes, too much fun here on Too Much Fantasy Football. So stay tuned, listen, follow us all over, and we'll get back to you soon.
All right, later.
Guys.